different than what they recognized, a little bit different than what they recognized in the American League. So I thought that was interesting. And then after that, no question about Mookie Betts winning the MVP. The thing that was interesting about that was the year that he had. I mean, just unbelievable for all phases of the game. And some of the numbers he put up in terms of the leading the league in hitting and stealing 30 bases and, leading in slugging percentage or wherever he was in that. I mean, nobody's ever done that. I mean, it hadn't been done for, if ever, forever, right? So a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful year by Mookie Betts, and congratulations for that.
Let's do a couple of Twitter questions. Do want to thank Tony Hoagland, your State Farm agent in Champlin. He handles my insurance. He handles Michael Russo's insurance. Works out of Champlin. I would think that would be a problem. I would think Russo. Can you get enough insurance in the world for him? For someone who hurt his finger pulling up his sock the other day, who might walk into any wall at any time, who walks down the street texting NHL players and walking through traffic. No, I think this is pretty much charity work by Tony.
Hey, Minnesota sports fans. This is your local State Farm agent, Tony Hoagland. I need you all to ask yourselves this question. If you're in an at-fault car accident and you are sued for $700,000, how much of that $700,000 will my current insurance company pay? If you are unsure or can't answer all $700,000, you need to give us a call. State Farm has been number one in car insurance since World War II and number one in homeowners insurance since 1964. For a no-obligation review of your current policies, call us at 763-421-4900 or check out our website at www.champlininsurance.com.
Couple Twitter questions. Let's see. One is, I lost it. I will be right with you here. One is who's going to have the higher batting average? This is from Sam Nord. This next season, Kepler or Buxton? Interesting question.
What an interesting question. I'm going to say that Byron Buxton figures it out next year and has a higher batting average. I know I'm going out on a long ways onto a very, very tiny limb. But I think Kepler's going to have a decent year next year, and I'm hoping that Byron has a breakout year. So that's what I'm going to say about that. I'm probably going to miss it by 50 points, but that's what I'm going to say.
As we say on the football show, all predictions are stupid, but they're still fun to throw out there. The interesting thing to me is Buxton's mechanics are so obviously flawed, and Kepler's swing is so beautiful. You would think that Kepler would have the better chance, and yet I was really disappointed. I mean, everybody's disappointed in Sano and Buxton, because they haven't done what we expected yet. But the Kepler thing is really interesting because he doesn't have kind of the off the field problem Sano has. He doesn't have the major hitch in his swing that Buxton does. Just not much is happening right now for him.
Well, he hit 20 home runs, so you don't hit 20 home runs in the big leagues with no talent and a bad swing.
Right.
Well, I think
he has tons of talent.
I shouldn't say that. You can hit 20 home runs these days with a bad swing, but Kepler does not have a bad swing. He's got talent and he has a nice swing.
Yeah.
I think he does one thing mechanically that would be relatively easy to correct, and that gives me a lot of hope for him. I think he starts open in his stance and kind of closes himself off as he strides into the ball, so it locks him up a little bit. His hands get kind of locked behind his body, and his hip doesn't clear as readily It's kind of okay against left-handers. I think he improved a lot against left-handed pitching, which is hugely positive. But he didn't wear out right-handed pitching like he should with that swing and that talent. And I think he locked himself up a lot with that. I think that's easily correctable. And the other thing is, I think he locked his brain up a lot too. I saw him take a lot of pitches, the fastballs down the middle, and then swinging a breaking ball in the dirt. And you say, well, okay, if you weren't ready to hit that first fastball, what were you thinking? If you weren't ready, shame on you. If you were looking for a breaking ball and took it, that's fine. But then why did you swing and miss the breaking ball in the dirt? Evidently you switched. Don't do that. If you're going to go up and look for a breaking ball, look for it till you get 2 strikes, because conceivably if you go up looking for, trying to guess on every pitch, conceivably you could be wrong for 500 at-bats for 6 pitches in a bat. I mean, you could conceivably guess wrong every time. So don't do that, in my view. decide how a guy's going to get you out, or try to with strikes, and then look for that pitch if you want to. So I think he got in between. What's my plan? I think I'm just looking for the ball. Am I hit it hard? Okay, then why'd you take that fastball? Or then why'd you swing that breaking ball in the dirt? Let's have a plan, and I think both of those things are fixable. So I'm kind of talking myself into Kepler being a higher batting average than Buxton next year. but I'm staying with it. I think if Kepler hits 275 and Buxton hits 280, we're going to be really happy, because that 275 for Kepler is going to be 25 home runs minimum. So I'm sticking with it.
Absolutely. The other Twitter question we had, I'm sorry I don't have it, the name of the person who sent it in, because it was last week. If Roy comes up with it, he'll tell us. But the question was, what are our favorite genres? Books, movies, TV series, music. And, I love it when we kind of get away from baseball, and when we can do that in the off season, because you have such good taste in these things. So do you have an answer?
That's a really, really tough one for me. And I thought that I had.
Well, I can start with my answers, and you can tell
go
me
ahead,
how
because
wrong I am.
But no, I want to. I wanted to find who sent us that, because I wanted to thank him for the question, but now I can't find it either. That's a hard one for me. Are we talking? Which one are we talking about?
Let's start music.
Music, okay.
Favorite genre of music?
I don't think I have a favorite genre. I love great rock and roll, and great is different, with everybody. But I like every genre of music. In the last month, I've listened to classical music. I like every genre that there is. In every genre, there's stuff that you love and stuff that you hate. You can't. There's not a genre that's without bad music. I think Leonard Bernstein once asked him what he thought about the Beatles, whether that's good music or bad, what he thought. And he said, look, there's no such thing as kinds of music. There's just good music and bad music.
I agree with that.
And so there's that in every genre. In the last month, I've listened to classical music, I've listened to country music, I've listened to R&B, I've listened to blues, I've listened to rock. I like all kinds. If there's a genre that includes Michael Bolton and Sweet Caroline and Neil Diamond and that kind of stuff, then you could wrap that up in a genre and discard it. ABBA. You can discard that genre. But other than that,
okay, where would he stand on disco?
I'm okay with disco.
Me too.
Depending
on
the song,
and
there is the songs that Nile Rodgers produced for Chic, with and Boogie Oogie Oogie. There's some of the greatest bass lines that you'll ever. If you like bass music, which I do. You'll never get any better, bass line music than some of that disco stuff. So, yeah, I'm okay with that. It's not near the top of my list, but I'm certainly okay with it. But if I were to try to, hone in on giving people an idea of what I like, I think I've done a little bit of that as we've talked about, songs. But I really love great guitar solo kinds of things where the guitarist is not only talented but really melodic and knows where he's going all the time with the solo, not just virtuosity, but Prince, the Prince stuff that he plays, the Stephen Stills stuff. I'm big fans of that. Duane Allman, I'm a huge fan of Duane Allman's, for example, but B.B. King and I
saw B.B. King about a dozen times.
Buddy Guy, for blues guitar and great R&B that's blues related. So I can't. And then probably my favorite band, if you made me pick one, would probably be Steely Dan, and because all those guys that they got playing guitar for them, Skunk Baxter and Larry Carlton and Even Walter Becker played a lot of great guitar, on that. Rick Derringer played guitar on Showbiz Kids. I mean, so I think people get the idea. And I'm a big jazz fan, a huge jazz fan, and so I can't narrow it down, but I think people get the idea.
I'm with you, and once again, I'm going to chide you if you haven't listened or watched the 25th anniversary Rock and Roll Hall of Fame thing. Do you have Amazon Prime?
I think so.
If you have Amazon Prime, you can watch it for free. If you don't have Amazon Prime, you can order it on pretty much any streaming service or find it. It's everywhere, and it's just. I mean, to see Stevie Wonder with Smokey Robinson, B.B. King, Sting. I have to watch. Right. It's phenomenal.
I just watched.
And again, there are different versions of it. Some have more songs, some have fewer. But the version I always watch, it opens up with Crosby, Stills, and Nash doing "Almost Cut My Hair." It's just fantastic.
Something I was going to bring that song up. As a matter of fact, I've been into, as I said, I've been listening to all kinds of stuff in the last month, and there's some new stuff I want to run by you just to see, but. What you think. But I've been running lately to Four-Way Street, Crosby, Stills, and Nash & Young's live deal. So two things I'm going to suggest to listeners who care anything at all if we talk about this music or not. Almost Cut My Hair of the Four-Way Street album is, for me, the very best interplay between Stills and Young of any song that they did, and maybe any two guitars playing rock and roll together ever. Those two guys just nail it. And Stephen Stills is doing the runs that he always does, and Young is offering counterpoint to and they're back and forth, and I think it's the best stuff they've done.
It's funny. Just this morning, I don't spend much time on Facebook, but there is something on Facebook. You know what? I came across a video of Howlin' Wolf doing a TV appearance on Facebook. Because I follow a lot of crazy people, but I also follow some people who have great musical taste, and somebody posted this video. So I'm watching Howlin' Wolf, and it's one of those streams where if you scroll up, it'll take you to the next great historical music performance, and it was Crosby, Stills, Nash & Young doing Down by the River some it was one of those great old British TV shows where they bring the great band in, they'd have everybody in the women in the mini skirts dancing around them, and it was just like that. It was at the end, Stephen Stills walks over to Neil Young, and they just go trade leads back and forth. It's phenomenal.
Those two guys are great, and the only on that Almost Cut My Hair in particular. And again, another silly little David Crosby song and what David Crosby was really, really great at for that group was coming up with a melody that is really good. And then it serves as the perfect taking off point for Stills and then Stills and Young to do stuff. So, that was good. But also, I'm just going to recommend this. The quintessential Stephen Stills for me is exactly 7 minutes in on Carry On the Four-Way Street, he steps in. So they're both playing. He starts out, and then Young plays a little solo later on, and then they go back to the chorus and they're singing. Now, and exactly 7 minutes into that, here comes Stephen Stills with the wah-wah pedal and he plays as rock and roll, soulful rock and roll solo for about 3 minutes, and I always have that right at a time when I'm really, if I'm on the treadmill and I'm running uphill and I'm struggling, and that's just like, yeah, man, go for it. You and I are gonna take the hill here. So listen to that. To get Four-Way Street, listen to Carry On off of Four-Way Street, and you don't have to listen to all 14 minutes of it or whatever you don't want, but 7 minutes in is the most memorable part of that song. Is Stills comes in and plays 2 or 3 minutes of just kick-ass stuff. It's great.
So that's what we'll do. We'll every week where we aren't just packed with Twins or baseball news, we'll throw in a genre that we like from either TV, movies, books, or music. This serves as kind of the classic rock version of that. But I love talking about stuff I love talking about baseball, but I love talking about baseball and other stuff. We'll continue to do that during the off season. Thanks to Berry Coffee, berrycoffee.com, your State Farm